Yes, folks, it's finished. Nottingham Forest 1, Wolves 1. Wolves have finally got their first point of the Premier League season, having to come from behind to grab a point today at the City Ground. Give my thoughts on the game overall. If you managed to catch it today or if you were at the game, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. A couple of changes from Gary. It looks like it maybe could have been a change of shape, but it certainly wasn't. We slotted Totti into left back, Ryan Aït-Nouri pushing further up whilst he was on the pitch. Certainly at times we saw him almost slot back, so he did have that back five, but certainly started and looked to play further up, to be honest. And Ryan actually had the best chance of the game, really, in the opening stages. Brilliant knock through from Matheus Cunha, and Aït-Nouri pokes it through the goalkeeper's legs, but just probably not quite enough power, so it sells the Forest keeper to keep it out. Massive opportunity to take the lead so early on, to be honest. But in the first half, neither side could really get proper control of the game. It was like a basketball match at times, just from one end to the other. And Forest did get the opening goal. It's Chris Wood. Far too easy for him to be at the back post. Completely unmarked. Out of anyone, he's probably got to have a couple of bodies around him, but that's probably how he scores the goals that he does, because he's clever enough to get away from the men, and with his size and stature, he's going to be an aerial threat. Sam Johnston maybe should have done a little bit better on his debut, but I think he was blindsided, if I'm being completely honest, so he's unfortunate with that one. And of course, him starting today ahead of Jose Sarr, who wasn't even in the squad, so I think that pretty much tells you what Jose Sarr's future at Wolves is going to be. But thankfully, we reacted and we replied straight away. Jean-Ric Nebelgard, was something that we haven't seen enough of from him, but we know he's got the quality to provide it. A beautiful strike from range. It swerved all over the place, and in the end found its way, thankfully, into the back of the net. We needed that instant reply, really. And last season, Wolves didn't score a single goal in the Premier League outside of the box, and we've already got one just 3 matches in, so hopefully we can see a few more added throughout the season. But like I said, end to end, no real control of the game, and we're going into half time. In the first half, there was an instance where the ball did strike Jurgen Strand Larsen's arm and the referee didn't give a penalty. We saw it again in the second half with Chris Wood. For me, his arm's out. Maybe it's because I'm so used to the old rules in the Premier League now. For me, his arm's away from his body. It doesn't matter whether he's looking at the ball or not. For me, he should be concentrating on the game. And if his arm's out there and he handballs it, for me, it should have been a penalty. But I suppose the referee, keeping it with that consistency. He was consistently poor, I thought, throughout the game. Simon Hooper just lacked any real control of the football match at times. There were certain areas. I think Bellegarde was fouled, and then it was a daft reaction by Bellegarde. The foul wasn't given, and he sort of lunges out at one of the Forest players and gets booked. And there was just little things like that where I thought Simon Hooper didn't have a fantastic game, to be completely honest. But overall, I think it was probably a fair result, the 1-1. That's what I predicted. It was a pretty safe bet, seeing as I think we've drawn the last 2 league games 1-1 there as well. Very, very close. Not a lot between the two teams, to be completely honest. Obviously, with it being away from home, you can understand Wolves being maybe a little bit more cautious. Cunha came close once or twice with chances. We saw Gonzalo Gedge come on, Hwang Hee-chan came on. But after the majority of the changes, Wolves had a bit of rhythm and momentum. And then after those changes, it sort of seemed to lack that. And there was constant momentum swings between the two teams. Sam Johnson did have to make a half-decent save, to be fair to him. Craig Dawson beaten in the air by Chris Wood, and sort of Johnston springs across to his right to stop it from going in. But I've got to give a shout out probably to Craig Dawson, because he's come in today, really shored us up defensively. I know Wolves obviously like to play a high line, but certainly, with the likes of Chris Wood, and Taiwo Iwonyi coming on off the bench as well, you've got some really big physical players, Forest, and we dealt with those fairly well, other than the goal, obviously. And Mario Lemina as well. A serious performance from him, especially in the second half. Really, really solid, driving the ball forward. Thought he was going to go off at one point. He sort of planted his leg at one point, looked in some serious pain. Physios came on and he continued to play on. Saw a little glimpse of Andre as well. Can't comment too much on his performance, but looking forward to seeing a little bit more of him after the international break as well. But yeah, Wolves just lacking that little bit of bite, and something going forward. The patterns aren't quite there for me yet in terms of going forward. There's not a clear plan of how we want to attack the goal. Or, you know, we really struggle to test Cels enough, if I'm completely honest. You know, John Rickner Bellegarde had his strike from 20, 25 yards out. Other than that, Cunha came close. Not testing the goalkeeper enough for me. But I mean, on the road, it's a point. We're off the mark now. Going into the international break with a win in the cup, a point in the league, transfer deadline day done. So fingers crossed after the international break against Newcastle, we can crack on and hopefully get some more points on the board. If you managed to catch it today though, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.